March begins. Shit. Everything goes wrong. Okay? March 2nd, first COVID case in Saudi. I think it was somebody coming, it was somebody in Qatif. And then that was the first hotspot in Saudi. The first 50, I think, cases were all people in Qatif.
So it blew up in Qatif.
March 5th, they shut down Umrah. No more Umrah. And even if you're local, even if you're an expat, there's no more Umrah.
Now, wait.
March 8th.
Again, all right, keep going. Then we'll go back to one by one.
March 8th, they closed down schools and Qatif's quarantined. Like, things moved quickly, bro.
So during that process, when it first they closed down Qatif, people are like, just a couple of cases. And then when the Umrah, like, nobody's going anywhere with the mosque, everything closed, everybody got shocked.
Everybody realized.
Okay, I can't go pray. Yeah. I can't go pray.
Exactly.
Bro, for Saudiya,
it's sunk in.
I can't go pray. That was so scary.
But that happened later. We're still getting there, okay? So schools closed on March 8th, okay?
That was a celebration to a lot of people.
Yes, like no more schools, everybody chill.
Except parents.
Travel stops on March 9th, okay?
That's local.
Travel to GCC countries, Bahrain, UAE, Kuwait, Italy.
Because Italy was a hotspot.
South Korea, China, Lebanon, Egypt, Syria, and Iraq. Okay, so that's when we first started like having the restrictions.
But we closed in April. We closed all flights. I mean, in March. February we closed all the flights.
No, in February we closed down flights coming in for Umrah.
Okay, so my bad.
Yes.
You're
so
right.
Early March we still had flights going on. And
yes,
then
yes,
March
yes,
9th,
yes.
They announced these. March 10th, Italy was the first country around the world to do a national lockdown. You guys remember watching footage from Italy?
Yeah, that was scary.
That was ridiculous.
That was scary.
I remember seeing like the hospitals
That
overwhelmed.
was scary.
I remember like having CNN and just like flipping. It's like doom scrolling, but on TV. I kept doing that shit for like 4 or 5 days.
Bro, that was scary.
It's doom switching, maybe.
Like you had to see it. See, the problem is, I think this issue goes back to China not being very transparent. If we saw what we saw in Italy in China, we would have all been very, very cautious from the beginning, and none of this would have happened.
But I think China was very proactive in doing a lockdown, when they saw that starting.
But you were not showing anything. You were just saying.
True.
In Italy, we get to see with our own eyes. Like, we see all the healthcare workers go through hell. How families are fighting for how people, like some people, like their families are dead on the side of the street. The morgues are full. Everything is full.
I think it was around the north of Italy, one of the richer areas there, the Piedmont, I think, what I'm mistaken, is a lot of smaller towns that are close to each other, and a lot of them have older populations. And people living there, a lot of them, they cross around these towns. So they got, it was a very, what do you call it? A perfect storm of circumstances that hit them.
Also, Italians are like us. They're very family oriented.
Yes.
So they're visiting. I remember once they were telling families to stop coming to the hospital because you come and try to visit the one who's sick and you all getting sick at the same time.
Yeah, like, stop doing that.
Yes, stop gathering.
Okay.
Which is another scary thing about it.
That was March 10th. 11th, WHO announced the global pandemic. At that point, COVID was in 100
11
countries.
days.
100 countries.
Bro, 11. You just talk about 11 days, how crazy those 11 days are. We didn't even get half of March yet.
Yeah, exactly. We're not even the half of March.
Whoa.
100 countries, March 11th. At that point, I don't know if you guys remember, I remember coming into work on March 8th, I think. And we had received an email. Hey, by the way, one of our, expat employees lives in a compound where a positive case was recorded. So we're, just to be safe, we're telling all of our expat employees who live in these compounds not to come to work. Of course, everybody saw that email and like, yeah, nope, I'm going home.
I remember during that time when all this started happening, people were actually trying not to go out before we got full quarantine.
Oh, bro, yeah. I remember like crapping on the guys because they still kept that week that started for that first week when we went home. I spent the whole week at home and the guys were still getting together. I remember like shitting on them on the group. Like, yo, you need to like,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like everybody.
Yeah, the guys were hanging out all the time.
Exactly.
Alhamdulillah, nothing happened.
Yeah, but because at that start, like you didn't really know what was going on, at that beginning. A week later, okay, before we get to that. So during this wonderful first week of March, remember what also happened? The oil price war broke out. So that was bad timing. Say that.
This is extra spices on the first 11 days.
That was bad timing. Oil prices crashed. The market was flooded. Russia and Saudi started like having an oil war, and like everybody was very Everybody was
tense.
very confused at that time because like there was too many things going on. honestly.
Yeah, there was so many things in that one pot that you had no idea which one you need to solve first, or eat first, or look at first, or do whatever with.
Like, bro, I remember the pictures of Rome empty. Like, man, the أكثر شيء like ممكن قشعر like صور مكة empty. Empty.
Yeah.
Mecca was
You
scary.
know, Al-Kaaba, there's like nobody there. There's like
Whoa.
one person there. And you got to see those pictures repeated all around the world. New York, London, Italy, you know, Spain, everywhere. The same thing. And I don't think in recent history, I don't think the world has gone through something at the same time with everybody going through the same thing. Like everybody was sitting at home.
Well, you can't say that.
In recent history.
That you can say.
Yeah, in recent
Because
history.
we never had this much coverage of the whole world.
Exactly.
No, but I'm saying
Last plague we had what
100 years ago.
1919.
100 years ago.
Yeah.
1919, more than
There you go.
almost 100 years
Yeah.
ago. So,
Like the Spanish flu, you hear about it in Europe, you hear about it in Latin America.
but for our generation, or even our parents' generation,
Even, I think even on our parents' generation, yeah.
really? Like, because, yeah, when you think about things that happened around the world, most of them are regional affairs. No, I'm talking about a global pandemic where the whole world stops and there was no flights, except in the States. Like,
America.
yeah, I remember like looking.
Keeping it America.
I remember looking at a map of like planes around the world, and literally the States was the only country around the world like still having regular flights. So we still haven't gotten to midway through March. March 17th,
Wow.
March 17th, they actually closed down the mosques, and that was a big shock. That was also a big shock for a lot of people.
This woke up a lot of people.
Yes. At the same time, during that same week, Saudi also announced a 50 billion riyal stimulus package for small and medium businesses. That was March 14th.
Yeah, that was with the lockdown.
That was around, it was the same week. It was tuck, everything followed each other.
When did because I think that one was announced after the quarantine, not before the quarantine.
Okay.
Because we went to lockdown and then business started getting affected.
March 11th, WHO announces global pandemic. March 14th, Saudi announces 50 billion stimulus package for SMEs. March 16th, Dow Jones dropped 3,000 points, largest drop in history. 17th, mosque close. 23rd, partial curfew. So it started a week before the curfew started because they knew what was coming. At that point, a lot of businesses had stopped, employees had stopped going to work. A lot of businesses started, working from home.
People started going. People stopped going out.
Yeah, people started working from home. People stopped going out, and then the curfew happened, and like everybody realized, okay, this is serious, and this is going to be here for a while.
The partial curfew, was it? What was it at first? Was it 9 to 5?
It was 6 to 7. 6 a.m. to
That was the
7
first
p.m.
one?
That was 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. I remember there was a sticker like "La takhbar
Yeah,
at 7."
yeah,
You
I
guys
remember that. Yeah.
Then I think 2 weeks later, it became. I think a week later, they made it to 3 p.m. So it started from till 7 p.m. and then became 3 p.m. Things moved quickly in March, guys. Things moved
The thing
really
a
quickly.
lot because I remember I used to come to your house and we'll have a walk in the farm.
Yeah, that was the first week.
Wealth. Wealth.
that was the second week of March, I think. That was before the lockdown went to effect. When I'd already chilled at home. At that point I wasn't going out. At that point I wasn't going to work anymore. I wasn't seeing the guys. I was home alone, which was ridiculous. So what happened was at the beginning of March.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, exactly. Beginning of March, my family was most of my family is already in the UK because my brother studies in the UK.
Because of wealth.
Okay, and my dad decided to go to the UK to just bring them back together. So they can come back.
Bring
together.
them back together.
So they can come back together. When he got there, he decided, hey, since I just got here, might as well just postpone my flight for a couple of days. He does that. My sister comes back on a Friday. She comes back on a Friday. Anybody coming back on a Saturday got quarantined. Okay. My parents' flight was supposed to be on a Sunday. They pushed it to Tuesday. Mondays, they locked down airports.
Whoa.
See how tight that timeline was?
Whoa.
And it was again, you just said it. Like I
It was
thought
quick.
I thought it was like weeks in between, but now
Nah,
remembering
bro.
it, it was like this.
Day by day, you had
Mhm.
something new going on. Day by day. Like I remember at that time, like thinking like, yo, you really shouldn't go, Dad. But at the same time, like I understand why he had to.
Papa, no.
Exactly. But like he got like my parents, most of my siblings got trapped basically in the UK. And I'm like, okay, now what? What do we
Now what?
Now what?
You remember that
Exactly.
scene in Tom Cruise movie when he came in his underwear? It's like, woo,
Yeah.
up here. That's exactly what happened to James' script.
honestly, I was worried as hell, man. Honestly, because I was watching the news in the UK, and I'm like, yo, these guys don't know what the hell they're doing. Like everybody's still out and about. We're in lockdown here, and they're going to concerts and they're going to, you know,
Football games were all packed.
hey, exactly. They're still going to football games. They're still going to restaurants. You know, life is going on normally.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my parents, yo, you need to chill. You need to chill at home, bro. Like you don't need to go out. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to. So that was
Alhamdulillah,
tense.
Rabbi
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yani, that was like really tense. So March ends on this bullshit. We're trapped at home.
Mm-hmm.
April starts. April 6th, 24-hour curfew. Remember that?
That was the kick.
That was the reality setting in.
But at the same time, with all of that happening, the reaction of businesses, government, everyone else, everyone was proactive.
Exactly. Things were still going.
Yes. At the same time, not only that, like remember we were all full lockdown. All of a sudden, Mersood, everything else just kicked into high gear.
Oh yeah.
Deliveries,
Delivery apps.
yeah,
Ooh.
delivery apps. We went crazy. At first,
Supermarkets.
the lines at the supermarkets.
Bro, everybody wearing masks. You started seeing that became a thing. Like people, I remember people trying to get into Marsul just to have an excuse to leave the house. I'm like, bro, where are you going? There's nowhere to go.
I want to deliver stuff.
And they caught them.
They
Yeah.
did?
Yeah, and they caught them.
Yeah.
Anyone who is not supposed to be out, and they put a lot of strict, laws on all these companies and how they're gonna hire people to do delivery and so on.
Mhm.
And Saad Moldova Fiha, give me all your information, what you're
Like,
doing.
oh, we need to know where you go.
Yeah, exactly. And you get stopped. You have to have a paper while you're going. What are you doing? And again, like the amount of things that happened that we've never faced before, and how, like the government actually took care of all of these. Like it's just amazing. Example: you needed to go to a hospital. Call up. This is what I need. You get a message. You get the message with all information, so you can actually go to the hospital. If you get stopped, you get checked. My house around this corner, cops, everywhere. Every time you want to get out, you have a square. Remember when they give you that square to
Yeah.
go and buy your stuff and come back home?
Like type in the name of your like neighborhood or where your street is and tells you where you're supposed to go. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have one square to move in to go get groceries, whatever you need to get done. Here's the problem. Where that square ends, Danube is right behind it.
Wow.
Okay. I'm in a roundabout talking to two different cops about where I'm going, trying to get an approval. And they're all like, oh, but you can't. I'm like, bro, I have nothing around me.
Like there's nothing
Like
nice.
it's not nothing nice.
I need
Everything is like almost out. Because when it first hit, everybody was just
Yeah.
packing a home.
Exactly.
But we still had
Eggs
toilet
were
paper,
sold
though.
out.
Eggs were sold out. Remember eggs were sold out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't Mara'i like sneakily raise the price of milk without us paying attention?
Did
I
they?
think they did.
They might have.
So like, but the way that they took care of everything, it felt like yes, you are in quarantine, but you're not lost.
No, there was never
Things are being controlled
Yeah.
properly.
The only things you miss is the luxuries.
عجلة التنمية still going.
No, it's not just the luxuries.
going.
It's like I think a lot of people had a lot of different experiences lockdown because, like for example, I'm not used to spending a lot of time at my house. You know, it just happened to be that unfortunately my family wasn't there, so it was a bit of a lonely time to be
Lucky
honest.
Mhm.
For them, yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, for them, yeah, maybe, sure. Like they spent a good 2 months there. They enjoyed it, but
no, lucky for them to be away from you. That's
Yeah,
what I meant.
okay.
Don't mistake.
but for a lot of
Don't mistake the hate.
for a lot of different people, like they had to basically figure out how to deal with their families because they had never spent this much time confined in
That's
the same
true.
space.
That's a
with
good
them.
point, Shamsi.
I remember that. I remember
that's a
people
good point.
going
Oh.
crazy and flipping out, like, "Yo, I can't leave. There's nothing. There's nowhere I can go."
Oh,
And
God.
a lot of my friends, they had good experience with their families. They reconnected. There was calm. There was peace. There was whatever. A lot of them, had to figure out how to actually, communicate or live with the family in like a confined space. And just, this is life. This is what it is. So I don't know about you guys. Like,
I'm a gamer, dude. I was born to stay at home.
okay.
Crazy. He
Yeah.
loved it.
Ridiculous.
Every time we used to talk, we were discussing the podcast over video chat.
Yeah.
What was he doing?
Gaming.
Yeah, he's like,
exactly. You see
uh-huh.
the flashing lights?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. I agree with you.
Headshot.
Yeah, we're going to the moon.
No, that shit was disrespectful, honestly. I
It
was
is
like,
disrespectful, but again, it's Turks.
Pay attention, bro. Like, pay
My
attention.
bad. It's humble Turks.
Thank you.
It's so humble.
I remember like just sitting down and reading books. Like the only thing that I actually
That's
achieved-
exactly what you were doing,
Exactly.
Shamsi.
This is-
Every time I called you, there's some Russian history I had to
Yeah,
hear.
it's like, yo,
And the thing is, I had nothing to do, so I had to listen to it.
bro, I ended up reading a couple of books that I never thought I would have finished. Honestly,
How many books did you finish during quarantine?
2 months.
Yes.
Ranges from 10 to 15.
I think even more than that, to
I
be
think.
honest.
No, it ranges from 10 to 15 because
Because I remember the phone call, Adi, this is book number 13.
Yeah.
And I remember that was like halfway.
yeah, because I remember I had Infinite Jest. If you guys have never heard of Infinite Jest, it's the joke among people who like books because it's so damn huge. And it's not you can't finish it. It's just ridiculously complex. I ended up finishing it like 8 days, something like that. Because I literally had nothing else to do.
Nice.
And
I remember I went to see
Bragging
him.
points, Shams.
no,
Well done.
I was so into it. I got
But this
so
is from,
into
from
it.
the beginning when he stopped going to work. This is not like after full lockdown.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
I used to go to his house and like we'll go walk. And then like the second I walk in, he has a book with him.
Mm.
Closes the book, puts it down, goes, we come back.
Yeah.
What does Shams do when you're talking to him? Grabs a book and ignores the shit out of you.
Exactly, yeah. In front of the fireplace with the blanket. Yeah, that's what he does.
In the
you walk
rocking
up there
chair.
like, you're here again. Let's go for a walk.
Oh,
young
no,
man.
it's more like, oh, you're still here.
Yeah.
Bro, I got
Let's
into
go to the garden.
I got into a remodeling phase. I literally remodeled the house. I'm like, yo,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
bored
I
of this.
remember that.
I need to create an office. I went and I started robbing people's, furniture.
Let's not forget, it was also very educational for you. You figured out that UTV can play, what's the name?
Spotify.
YouTube and
Nice.
Spotify.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. He figured out that, I can actually play my music on TV.
Like, I don't need to go buy a speaker, even though I did buy a speaker.
Even though you went to buy a speaker.
Because the speaker is useful.
Oh.
But, I managed to make it through.
Dude, I
Uh,
remember you trying to convince us you're working out. That was fucking hilarious.
I
That was
was
awesome.
working out.
Yeah, you were
you were
no,
walking.
No, you were walking
You
out.
were walking.
Walking out.
You were walking.
Yes.
Okay.
You were not jogging.
Like
you
a
were
grandma.
not running. You were walking.
There were steps involved. I was going up and down steps.
How many steps? Thank you very much.
Yeah, no.
First off,
Singles.
First off, like the
Yes.
square that he walks, what is it? Around like 600, 700 meters?
Maybe.
That's within his room, I assume.
I
No,
don't-
I'm talking about the farm.
Ah, okay.
The farm. I think like the whole square, walking it around is on like 600, 700 meters.
Yeah,
So you do that for like what, like 45 minutes?
give or take.
Yeah, give or take. And then you walk inside. You walk in some more stairs.
Yeah. I just wanted to move, bro.
And burn a half a calorie.
I just wanted,
Yeah.
honestly, when it first
fry.
started.
Like, oh, I'm sweating.
Yeah.
I think we're
Okay,
done.
Sweat? Exactly. I think we're done. Like, I think it's good time to go back inside. No, but when it first started, like, I was still doing my regular schedule of just like sleeping late and waking up later and just like not having any daylight.
Okay,
but
you
no,
make it sound like that never changed, Shams.
No, but it actually did.
That was you before quarantine, during quarantine, and after
No,
quarantine.
During quarantine, I actually started like going to sleep by, let's say, 10, 11 p.m. and waking up around 9, 10 p.m.
Do you know why, Shamsi?
Because I wanted sunlight.
No, I can tell you why. See, he doesn't remember. He thinks of the positivity he makes up. Okay, do you know why?
Why?
Because we had limited hours to go out, and he had things to go do.
True.
That's what. See, see, I'm telling you, I know this
That
fool.
is also true.
Yeah.
That is also
Look,
true.
I lived through his walking phase, his yoga phase. Tayyip. Yeah, tell him about the yoga phase. Go ahead, bro. Tell him.
There was a yoga phase.
Go, get up.
It's
Show,
not-
show the guys downward dog.
It shall,
Go, come on.
It shall live
Show us.
forever within me.
Show us the warrior pose.
Can we just go back to
No,
this?
we want the warrior pose. Go ahead.
Okay.